recap a little bit of the last game there. Along with the awards, those other players he just mentioned received our offensive MVPs. We had two of them, Adam Kennedy and Michael Gordon. Were both internally our offensive MVPs. Our defensive MVP was Artez Brown. We had two special teams, most valuable players, Booker Mays. Booker had his hand in there on the block punt along with LeAngelo Albright, who recovered it. Booker also had a big hit and played really well in special teams, and then Brock Barnhill as well. I believe had 4 tackles on kickoff and has been doing a really nice job. Both those guys, just to mention, were put on scholarship this year as well, and this is a reason why, because there are these type of guys that are doing a good job overall classroom on the field. Our offensive lineman MVP was really the whole unit. Kenny Raines was the one that got the award, and tight ends are hard with the specialists along with being an O-line. Chris Stone was our D lineman MVP. Hard hat award went to Xavier Woodson. So those are the internal awards we had for our players. And then just one of the things in that game, just looking back at what the defense was able to do against a very good quarterback. Colton Browning, I think 11 of his 17 completions, were bubbles there. I think the ball got caught 6 times down the field. So it says a lot about what our coverage was doing, and then we got after him and were able to get some hits on him 17 times in that game. So I thought what the defensive plan was for the D-line, the linebackers to really control the run game and the quarterback, the secondary to cover, do their job the entire play, because the quarterback was very good at moving and scrambling and making things happen down the field. They did that. And I thought offensively for Adam, he had a really nice performance running the football, leading the team in rushing in that game, and also having a good passing game with 70% completion as well. Proud of Mike Gordon, Sir Gregory stepping up. We still had a fumble in that game early on. We've got to continue to emphasize that. We do every week. We've been, for the most part, good, but haven't been good enough the last 2 games, and that's something that we got to be very cautious of going into this next game with the turnovers. And then special teams, we said it in the last game there. They did a great job performing and coming through and just really playing hard, and had some really big things happen in that game. Ryan Carruthers with the blocked field goal, and then the blocked punt as well, and then a couple of good returns by J.D. McKissick. So that's really a recap of what happened in the last game. Proud of the way the guys played, proud of the way they came out with the energy they did early on. Defense, special teams, offense caught fire there going into the second half and really started to get some things happening with the ground game, pass game. It all started to come together. As far as this week, again, there's no weeks off in this league, so we're playing another good football team. Texas State, well coached. They've got very good players. They've got a good recruiting base. They've got, I think, talent at a lot of the skill positions. To start with their quarterback, Tyler Jones. He's a true freshman, 65% completion. Doesn't throw it a lot, but when he does, he's accurate. He's also had, statistically, he's had 4 INTs throughout the year, which in that many games is pretty good. Now, he's only had 5 touchdowns as well, but they asked him to run the ball and just operate the offense. Robert Lowe is their back. He's got about 760 yards this year, so he's closing in on 1,000 yards probably by the end of the year. Their tight end, Brad Miller, really good in the run game, does have receptions, and a guy that we got to be aware of. Wide receivers are all good. They got 5 players with over 12 catches. So all those guys, the ball gets spread around. You just have to be, on your toes as far as what they're going to bring. A little bit different each week, but you got to be aware of those guys. And all of them have had, all 5 of those receivers have had good games. Defensively, they're really strong. They're ranked 12th nationally against the run. They're first in the Sun Belt by almost 40 yards. They're first in the Sun Belt in turnovers. Their leading tackler, Mike Aracapo, is a Colorado State transfer, and I know that name because his brother didn't coach him, but his brother played at Texas, and so and still plays. And so he's a very good football player. Damian Mick Miller is their Mike linebacker. He leads the team with tackles, and then their strong safety, Justin. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. It has 3 INTs in the backfield or in the secondary there. And then special teams are solid. They're doing a lot of good things. Leading the conference in kickoff returns. Their punter was the Sun Belt Conference Player of the Week this year already. So well coached. They do what they do. On defense, they're a quarters-based team, and they'll give you some variety with some 3 down front, but not a whole lot of disguise in what they do. They get to the ball, they rally to it. They're coached on fundamentals and just playing hard, and that's the same thing on the special teams. They're coached on fundamentals and playing hard, and then offense is where they get a little bit funky with just the triple option, the ability to run, the triple option, to give it, to keep it, to pitch it, and then the pass game off of it. Once you commit guys, you got to have your guys doing their job. That's really what the key is, being disciplined on defense. And if you do that, they're going to make yards, they're going to make plays, but you got to eliminate the big explosive plays they potentially could get. So glad we're at home this week for the next 2 games, but our guys are excited about being back home. We've done a nice job for the last 2 games on the road. I think we found some things out about just what we can do offensively. I think our defense is playing with a little bit of a swagger and some confidence, and then special teams has come through as well. So we have to continue that. We're a work in progress. We're not there by any means. We got to have a mindset of coming in here and being a lot better than we were against ULM if we play Texas State, because the competition gets better. And no doubt about it, that Texas State's going to come in here and have a good football team, be prepared for us. So we're looking forward to this week. We're looking forward to being at home, looking forward to having a great crowd. We need everybody out there. We are in a position to continue to have an opportunity at the Sun Belt Conference Championship, and that's our goal. And all we can do is control how we play, and I like the way that our guys have played, and hoping that we have that same type of mindset coming into this game and that same type of performance. If we do that, we're a good football team. We just keep scratching, clawing, and fighting, we'll be all right. I thought the defense came out, and we had one miscommunication that went for a touchdown in the secondary and got that corrected. Nobody panicked. We understood exactly what it was and why it happened. We made that correction. It didn't happen again. But I did like the way the defense was playing. It's good to see, Q Lee is pretty healthy, and when he is, you see how he can move around the field and disrupt a quarterback or a run game in particular. And so he's really helped, along with the D-line up front, of allowing the secondary just to do their jobs, cover their guy, and let the D-line, let the linebackers play the run, play the quarterback if he scrambles. I thought special teams provided a lot of energy in the game as well. That continues to be something that we're getting better and better at. And then offensively, we were for the most part in the first half, I thought we did a good job, and I thought in the second half, again, like last week, I thought the coaches, defense and offense, made really good adjustments coming out in the second half. And our guys went out and executed it. And the same thing at halftime. I think there was a belief, there was confidence in there that we're going to get it done. It's just a matter of time. Guys understood the adjustments and why we were doing it, and then went out and played, and they didn't score in the second half, and we put up some points and made some huge plays off of turnovers. Defense got the turnovers, special teams got the turnovers. What we hadn't done in the past and what we did in this game was we capitalized on that offensively. And to me, that says a lot about the confidence that your entire team has in each other, is when your offense takes advantage of those things, because that's what we're trying to get. And it motivates the defense to go out there and try to get more and try to play harder. There'll probably be some different things that we do in this game, from what we've done. Right now we're not going to stray too far away from what's been good for us. And they're not going to change either. We're kind of at that point now. All teams are into a flow. If you're making a whole lot of changes, it just hasn't been good for you. We got to do a better job up front. We can't get penetrated. O-line's going to have to step up again in this game, because their D-line has played well. They're not overly complicated. They're just good at what they do, and that's what makes them good. They're good up front. I think their linebackers play well, and their safeties are involved in the run game. Corners can cover, so they feel good about the one-on-one matchups out there, and if they're going to expose those guys, they feel like they got corners that can hold up long enough. And for us, it comes down to being physical again. I thought for the most part, in the ULM game, I thought we were the physical football team running the ball. And we still gave up penetration. We still missed assignments. But for the most part, up front, we were coming off the ball. We were getting penetrated. We were penetrating the defense. The backs were able to find it. And I thought the mixture of run to pass, inside, outside runs was the key to the balance in the run game. That needs to continue. We're going to have a variety of runs. We're just going to have to stay with the ones that have been good for us. I know this about option football. You know, you go into the game, you need to know what you're doing against option football. And, you know, it's all very similar. I think where we might swing a guy out of the backfield and throw it to him, they'll have a guy there to pitch it to him, all off the same type of defensive concept they're trying to beat. And so we'll throw it, they'll pitch it. The quarterback can run. He's been a tough kid this entire time. He's got the ability to make things happen. And, you know, if you got guys in the right spots, they're going to make plays. They're going to get on the perimeter. They're going to do different things. You're going to rally to the football and tackle them for 2-3 yards. You just want to give up the big ones and get completely out of position. So to me, it's about a disciplined defense against that offense. And then your corners and your safeties, if your job is to cover, and do a great job with your eyes. We have to match up. There'll be one-on-one matchups. I know that. Now they played Texas Tech, and they throw the ball well. And so there's some numbers in there that might be a little bit skewed. I haven't looked at all the stats of who had the most yards and things on them passing yet. But yeah, I mean, if guys commit to the run, you got to be able to throw it, and we can't sit there and bang our heads against a wall and decide that we're going to run it regardless. And at the same time, we're going to have to be effective passing it so we can run it. That's what we did last game. We threw the ball effective. We came out and threw the ball in the first play, completed it. That kind of opened everything up, that these guys will throw it even under the circumstances in the rain. That was part of the plan, and Adam did a good job. He's been completing, around 65-70% of his passes. That gives us the advantage in the pass game, and then when they back off, we got to get the ball in our running backs' hands. I haven't mentioned anything about a bowl. It's in our, we talked about it. It's in our goals, but I haven't said anything about that really since the Lafayette game. We haven't talked anything about that. We haven't really talked about the conference other than what we talk about with our goals. We just talk about what we need to do each week at this point, and that's really where, our players, our coaches' mindset is, which I like. Everybody's on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis, and just concentrating on making sure that that's all we're focused on. The other stuff we can't control. The conference, we can't control it right now. We can just go win our games. Get some help. Bowl game, don't know. I think at some point, like we talked about in the South Alabama game, and just enough's enough. You get backed in the corner, and you're either going to run or you're going to fight your way out of it. I think our guys have fought. I think our coaches have fought. And I think the reality of it is, when you do that, that's how you win. It shouldn't always be like that, regardless of who you play or what you're ranked. It doesn't matter, or what you've done. If you don't have that mindset, you get beat. Watch college football. You can go pick every team out of a lineup and say they'll win it, and they get beat. And it's all a mindset. It's all about having that mentality. I like the mentality we have. That needs to get better, and it needs to continue. If it doesn't, then you put yourself in a vulnerable position again to get beat. And our preparation, the attention to detail, the attention to how we prepare and the attitude we prepare with, and then the confidence we played with, that can't go away. That just needs to be built on. I think our players see it. They're rallying around that a little bit, and that has to continue.